Hello and welcome back to Hydroponics Daily, your go-to podcast for everything soilless cultivation. I'm your host, Dr. Russell Sharp, the founder of Utrema Limited, who manufacture novel biostimulants, interesting fertilizers and organic biopesticides for use in hydroponics and other forms of growing. In the past, I've talked about how often lots of indoor growing companies that have sought investment, especially in the vertical farming sector, sort of pivot and think that they can start selling their technology, selling their software or selling their designs and things like this. And it's often, you often wait for this to occur like 2 or 3 years after they've first raised funds. But I wanted to talk about a different aspect of that and a potentially different pivot. And that is the ability to rent out, lease out your equipment. And I saw this because I've seen it a few times, big vertical farming companies saying that that with the help of their finance team, they'll be able to, as well as sell equipment, they could potentially lease it. But the reason it caught my interest, because that's nothing new, is sort of smaller scale domestic units. And there was a company, I think in California, or it might be Canada, and they were leasing out vertical hydroponic towers for domestic use or for small scale growing. And I thought that's an interesting concept, because then you can sort of build in the support, the technical support, that could be an additional fee, and also sundries, things like fertilizers and also lighting and stuff like that. So an interesting business model, one for people to consider. You might be a cog in that supply chain, that might be attractive to you, depending on which country you're in and sort of the demand for hydroponic units. So definitely something interesting. Certainly vertical towers, something that can fit easily into, say, a kitchen and things like this. And we've seen lots of designs like that, sort of the hydroponic towers that go into kitchens. Zoe Deschanel's company in California, that does something similar. Could they do a rental model as well as the expensive single tower? So something to consider. As I say, on a commercial scale, this is nothing new. Companies like iFarm, Freight Farms, Square Mile Farms, V-Farm, by Hydrogarden, Groponics, these have all looked at this in the past for commercial production and rental of the units by farmers who want to take on the risk of growing the crop. It's quite, you can see why a financer would like it, because the farmer takes on the risk of the crop and the crop failure, and also of whether they can actually sell the crop. And they only take on the risk of the farmer, being able to pay for the rental of that unit. And at the end of the day, they can return it. So I can see why it'd be attractive to a CFO. It's attractive from a farmer's perspective, because you could, if you're not familiar with hydroponics, but you want to get into it, it's a potential for a turnkey solution where they come and install the software, train you and all that. So potentially could get you up to speed with hydroponics very quickly for a small outlay compared to investing in all the equipment yourself. You could use that sort of desire for rental to your advantage. They're desperate for the sale. They're desperate to put that on the books for the future income. So you could get them to install a small unit, and then in your head, you're thinking, well, I'm actually just going to buy all the equipment myself once they taught me how to do it. So that's an option. Other advantages for the commercial scale is that you rent out a lot of equipment on a large scale, whereas if you're going for the domestic units, that's sort of single, small scale, low income compared to commercial. And also you've got the hassle of getting them back off the customer when they've decided they don't want it. What state will that be in? Will it be able to be rehired out, or will it have to be dumped? So you don't know those sorts of unknowables until you get into the business model and try it out for certain. So a short and sweet episode today, because I'm about to go out to a house party for Christmas drinks, and it's the weekend. But I hope you like this episode. If you've used rental hydroponic units, or you've rented them out, leased them out in the past, then let me know, because it'd be interesting to know of your experience, and more than happy to do a follow-up. If you've got any examples, case studies, then shoot them my way. That's been Hydroponics Daily for today. If you found it interesting, please leave an Apple podcast review. Make sure you follow the podcast. And if you're into a interesting fertilizer for hydroponics, a nice additive, a biostimulant to get your crop growing, or a biopesticide to control a pest or disease, and you're in the UK, check out utrema.co.uk. And if you can't spell Utrema, it's Latin for wasabi. Thank you very much for listening. And until tomorrow, goodbye.